That's right. All right, all right, all right. Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Let's See Where This Goes From Here. Today is a fun episode for us because we are actually having our first episode. So just quick introductions. As always, I'm your host, Miguel, co-host Missy, riding shotgun for these ridiculous conversations, and the one and only Lisa Samuels, who we talk about so much on our podcast prior to. Mm-hmm. She is one of our good running friends, part of our running village. And she, if you can see behind her all of the medals that she has behind there, she is a very avid marathoner. So Lisa, thank you so much for being our first guest ever.
Yay! Thank you for having me.
Of course. So this is kind of like the Lisa episode. So give us a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about myself. I did not start running. Actually, you all heard this. You all know this. I hate running. I love finishing. I've never had a runner's high, but I've always had a finisher's high. Don't know what a runner's high is. Didn't start running until 2015. Actually, 2014, I ran my first half. I got involved in running because we were walking the Susan B. Komen 5K run, because I've never run a mile in my life straight out. And my daughter says to me, "Hey, Mom, look at this race. If I train for a half marathon, will you pay for me to go, right? It's in Disney World." So, of course, my daughter's trying to get me to pay for a trip to Disney World. I said, "What are you talking about? What's a half marathon? What is this about?" She showed me a picture on her phone, and people are dressed up in costumes. Like women are wearing tiaras, and they're running through Disney World. And I'm like, heck yeah, I can get dressed up in the tiara and run through Disney World. I am in. I had no idea how far a half marathon was. I did not know what I was getting into. We trained for that. I did my first half. And it was actually, we ended up doing, the first half wasn't Disney, the Disney Princess. It ended up being, for her graduation in college, she wanted us to run a half marathon in Galveston. So the very first half marathon I ever did was the Santa Hustle in Galveston. I don't recommend it.
Yeah. So like, wow. And you kept running after that.
I did keep running. I don't recommend it. It's pretty boring. It's not, yeah. So that's kind of how I started into running. And then my husband, as you said, Migs, Sheldon did his very first marathon was the Dallas Marathon in 2014, where it rained buckets. You guys were on the course together. And we actually, my daughter and I, stood outside with signs. We made the newspaper. Actually, we were out there for 5 minutes at the start line.
I remember that.
Held up a sign, made the newspaper. He ran in the pouring rain, almost had to go to the medical tent afterwards because his lips were blue because he was so cold. And he's like, what the hell? I just ran 26.2 miles and I got a medal. You stood out there for 5 minutes, then went to breakfast and made the newspaper. So I said, I'll never do a full marathon. It's miserable. It's awful. You can't control the weather. I signed up for New York on a whim. I don't know why. I saw it come across Facebook. I put my name in the hat. And of course, unlike you, Migs, who tried like 9 times, I put my name in the hat and I got in. And I'm like, shit, wow. I guess I'm going to run a marathon. So my first marathon was in 2015. And
I don't even know why you run marathons anymore after your first one was New York. It's like, it's all downhill.
Now, as I was coming up in Central Park, I didn't know if I was going to die. I didn't know what was going to happen, right? I didn't know if I was going to finish. And I wasn't running with DRC. I was running by myself. Sheldon was training me, which you can imagine. Our first 18 miler, he ran me up Landshire. He ran me up all over Goforth and all of back there.
Oh my goodness!
We were over there, and I wanted a divorce. I mean, I hated him for doing that to me. I'm like, you go ahead, I'll go. You go. So as we're coming into Central Park, I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I'm going to die, and I think I'm going to finish this. And when I finished it, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do this again. This is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. This was awful. this was awful.
Mm-hmm.
And we stumbled into a little deli about, 5-10 blocks from there and got something to eat, whatever. Got up the next morning, put our medals on, and went to the Tavern on the Green to go get finisher gear, right? Because that's what you do after a marathon. And everybody around me is like congratulating me and saying, "Great job, congratulations." And all of a sudden, that finisher's high kicked in. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. I may have to do this again. I may have to do this again. And, I tease people and tell them that after a marathon for about 2 weeks, if you want anything from Lisa, that's when you ask. Because I'll give you anything. I mean, I have such a high. I feel like Superwoman. I feel awesome. I mean, my body's wrecked, but I absolutely love it. So, yeah, you just keep on keeping on, right? You just keep on doing it. And you guys, training with you guys and doing what we do, that's what makes it worth it, right? When I was out, I didn't know. I thought I was just I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know if I was going to curl up on the couch. That's why I was riding my bike trying to keep up. Just let me be a part of the group, please. I got to run.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was. So that's how I got started into running, and I just can't seem to stop. Missy, we talked about it on Saturday about how much that you needed to get out and get get on a run. And it's not like I have to run. I don't run like every day. I know people who they have to start their morning with a run. But if I don't get that one long run on Saturday, and if I can't, hook up with you guys and be around you guys for camaraderie, life just is not the same. It's blah.
I know personally, both of you have been very impactful for me because I've had a couple of injuries over the last couple of years, and I'm like, I'm just gonna not do this shit anymore. And neither one of you were having that. Like, in separate instances, you both are like dragging me out there, like we're gonna go on this run. And you're right, I just felt infinitely better. Yeah, I was a little sore because again, not having done it maybe for a couple of weeks or a couple of months because of it. But like you said, the camaraderie, the just commiserating with each other, the conversations that we have. I've always been very like you realize like how it warms your heart and your soul to get out there and have that conversation with people. And and you guys are my people, right? So it's like Missy said it last week on the last week's episode. I always am going to have to do a run with people and have a group because our group is amazing. I mean, we definitely have a great group of people, and which is one of the main reasons why we wanted you to be on as one of our guests. So you brought up something interesting when you were talking about how you started. So you said like Sheldon trained you at first. You weren't with DRC. How did you find your run group? How did you find DRC?
First of all, my husband is a solo runner, right? And
yes.
We're together all the time. You guys know we've been married for a bazillion years, and we're together all the time. So when we go out and we run, there's nothing to talk about. There's absolutely nothing to talk about. And if there is something to talk about, it's like 15 minutes and then we're done. So it's a quiet, solitary run. And you guys know me, right?
That's why I don't see how it could be a solitary, quiet run.
Exactly, it is because we have nothing to talk about. We talk all the time. We're together all the time. And so when I decided to continue to run, I'm like, well, I'm not running. He ran me up Landshire and Go Forth and all that. He's lucky I'm still with him after that. And so I'm not sure. I don't even remember how exactly I found DRC. I may have seen something on Facebook. I can't remember, but it's like I need to sign up. And I just heard about Jeff Galloway's method in the run walk, right?
Right.
Because my first half marathon was a straight run, and it's kind of miserable. So I found out they had a run walk, and I'm sure I've told you this before, but I'll never forget. We were running up Landshire, and I was running with you and Grady and Armenius, and I'm like, this is bullshit. I can't get up this hill. Oh my God, why am I doing this? And we started talking because we were new, right? We hadn't really even met, and you were telling me how you were going through cancer treatment. I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm over here bitching because I can't get up the hill, right? I can't move my ass up the hill. And he's having cancer treatments. I need to shut my mouth and just start running and be quiet, be grateful. So I used you as inspiration because I'm like, I got nothing to bitch about because there's nothing going on with me.
No, everybody has something they can complain about. And it was funny because you guys did tell me that back in 2017, and I was going through radiation. And as much as and that's eventually why I let Ian do the article in the Dallas Morning News, because you guys really said, you have to let him do it. And I was like, I don't look at myself that way because you guys treated me so normally. Right. There was concern. You guys always made sure I was with the group and stuff like that. But like, I was just one of the, and it was a sense of escape at the time. Like I didn't have to worry about anything. We were just talking about running. And, the funny thing is if I got quiet, we all got quiet. Like everybody was quiet together. Right. And so I just felt so normal, and I really needed that at the time. There's a lot going on. And so I'm forever grateful to you guys for that. Like, I don't know if I've ever conveyed that properly, but yeah, it was just so weird that you all were saying like you were such a motivation, and the same thing. It was so hot and you were still running. But there were days I was like, God, these fucking people, just slow down. But no, it's been fun. It's been fun. So now I know you say you and Sheldon don't like to run together, but you definitely do race together, and you both just finished Tokyo a couple of weeks ago. So we need to hear about this. We need to hear about Tokyo.
Mm-hmm. But first, can we see that medal?
The Tokyo medal?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Hold on a second here.
You have to give her a second, everybody, because she has about 7,000 medals sitting behind her.
Well, hold on. Oh, Lordy.
She has to unlatch it.
So here's Tokyo. Let me make sure I got the right year. Yeah, 2024.
Okay, that's a pretty ribbon.
I do like that ribbon.
And then, in case you can't, if you're sighted, it's actually in Braille.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's so
it's
cool.
in Braille.
Okay, so, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So we actually ended up with 4 medals for Tokyo. As you guys, I know, right?
What?
So what happened was, we were supposed to run the Tokyo Marathon in 2020, right? We got in 19, and we were supposed to run 2020. We were 2.5 weeks out from flying out, and actually about 2 weeks from the race, Sheldon and I both said, I don't think we should go. I don't know what's going to happen. And a week after that, they canceled the race. But thank God we hadn't flown out, because we would not have gotten back into the country, because they literally shut down the U.S. after that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. After the race, about a month or two later, they sent us the 2020 medal, because they were already done, right? They sent us the medal. They sent us the shirt.
Lucky.
They sent us a whole bunch of stuff, right? So when we go to the expo, and we also did the Abbott World Marathon, we signed up for their virtual, so we got that medal for the race. And so we ended up with that medal. We ended up with a 2020 medal that they gave us on top of the 2020 medal we got in 2020. And then we got the 2024 medal, and then we got the Abbott medal. So I have 4 medals from Tokyo.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
And these are not all mine. Half are Sheldon's and half are mine. So he's got a total of 40, I think 7 or 8 marathons, and Tokyo was 41 for me. So
congratulations to both of you. That's
seriously
amazing.
It is crazy.
Wow.
80 something medals between the two of you on marathons alone. Not half marathon, like in marathons. That's wild.
There too, but yeah. So I'll tell you. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, Missy and I spoke about the Little Rock medals back in our first episode, and we showed our half medal. So anybody who's watching this on YouTube right now, behind Lisa is the full marathon medal for Little Rock. Like, that's one of their years. It is like a small dinner plate.
It is. And
it probably weighs about 5 pounds.
It does. And when they put it on your neck, first of all, it's a very hilly marathon. It was a rough marathon. It was the last marathon before COVID. That's why we did it, because Tokyo got shut down. And so we grabbed our travel trailer. We just bought a travel trailer to take to races. And we went to Little Rock, and were able to get in. And I think the only reason why we were able to get in was people were starting to drop out and stuff, because that's a pretty popular race because of the medals. The medal was so heavy. Literally, I had to take it off after like 30 seconds. And I always wear my medal because, hell, I'm proud of that thing. You can't. It probably weighs about 3 pounds. It probably does.
Yeah, it's a heavy
it
medal.
Always moves. They always have a moving part. So that was an 80s thing. So there's a Pac-Man machine or a Pac-Man machine.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Cool.
Yeah.
It moves around. So
you know what? Yeah,
yours
have
moves.
Oh no, ours doesn't.
Ours doesn't move. It's 3D though. It's like a 3D medal.
Yeah, you guys got a large amount of bling there too. Got a lot of bling, Missy.
Well, but I only have, I think, 6 or 7 marathons.
Wait a second. So she only has.
The rest are mainly halves.
That's okay. She only has.
It's times like this where we come off sounding very bougie about our medal. Like I only have 8 marathons under my belt. Exactly. And then you have to remember, like, do you have 8? There was a time when you didn't even think you'd have a single one, right?
Right. But then just think who we hang out with.
I know,
Lisa, Sheldon, Gary, Vicky.
Yeah.
I mean, they have like 40 marathons. So yeah.
It is. And it's funny because I always, and I will continue to do this forever and ever. I am a non-elite runner. And so I forget, like, and Missy was saying just a second here, like we hang out with these runners who have dozens and dozens and dozens of medals each, just personally. Like it's not even cumulatively speaking. And you forget, and this is why, I mean, I don't know, our stories seem to be endless, but we've kind of digressed a little bit. So you went to Tokyo. Tell us about Tokyo. I want to know about this race.
I have to tell you about the race. That first of all, Tokyo is the cleanest city I've ever been in. I know you talked about San Francisco in the last episode, and Tokyo, you could eat off the streets, and by the way, there are no trash cans anywhere, which is an oxymoron in itself because people don't eat and drink as they're walking down the street. It is very taboo, and you don't do it. And so any trash that you have on yourself, you carry with you. Or if you're eating somewhere, if you go to one of the little street vendors or whatever, you eat whatever it is you bought there and you hand them the trash and they throw it away for you. So very incredibly clean city. Everything's well organized. We got there, we left Dallas at Wednesday morning I'm sorry. We flew out to LA the night before. So we flew into LAX Tuesday night. We left LAX at like 9:15 Wednesday morning and got to Tokyo at 2:30 Wednesday afternoon. So I know you guys were trying to track us and you're like, what time is it?
Yeah.
It's a 15-hour ahead. So it's 15 hours ahead. So that's why when we finished, it was midnight for y'all. Anyway, so the night before just turned like Sunday for y'all. So the race, it's an interesting race. There's a 7-hour cutoff time. So 7 hours you would think is easy breezy, no problem. Well, what you don't know is there are 9 checkpoints that you have to make in a certain time. And so, as you know, as you guys lived through it, I literally was injured we're coming back from an injury for a year. My last marathon was November of 21 when we all did New York together. That was amazing. 22. It was 2022. 22. Okay, that's right. See, I forget. 2022. And so the concern was, am I going to be able to, is the knee going to hold up? And, how are things going to go? And so the checkpoints literally are from gun time. So the race starts at 9:10 in the morning. And there are,
And that's where your 7-hour time limit comes in.
Correct. And so Corral L, I think, was the last corral that they had. We were in Corral G. And as y'all talked about on the last episode, always lie about unit. You have to. It's because here's the thing. For us back of the Packers, non-elite runners, I don't care how many medals I have here. I am a non-elite back of the Packer and proud of it. But we need more time, right? We need that time. So we fibbed and we were in Corral G. And so literally the first checkpoint, you had to be at the checkpoint by 10:30 in the morning. And so it was a 5K. So that was kind of okay, right? Even if you started at like 9:40. So I literally had a bracelet that I wrote everything down on. So I knew exactly where I needed to be at what time. Because again, you're dealing in kilometers, not miles.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to the race. First of all, and I shouldn't bash them, but I'm going to. The finish gear or the race gear was horrific. ASICS has a policy that they put out what they put out, and that's it, and they don't care. And so we had heard they actually shut down the expo, the line to get into the store for race gear by the expo opened Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. And by 11:30, it was already shut down because it was a 4-hour wait to get stuff. So we decided to, instead of going to take the train, we took a taxi there because we were afraid that a train would, there's like multiple stations you had to get off at. And we just wanted to get there quickly. So we got there. We were like 7th in line to get into the expo. So we got there before 10 o'clock. We got there like at 9 a.m. We go straight to the ASIC store, right? Because everybody knows when you go into an expo, the sponsor or whatever sponsor has a store with all of the race gear.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that was left was 2X and 3Xs of everything.
Oh, I would have been fine.
No, you wouldn't have, because first of all, they were bigger than normal. And you are not a 2X or 3X, and that's just it. There wasn't a single 2X or 3X person in the expo. So it was awful because all I got was a sweatshirt, and it was a crappy sweatshirt. But
maybe they were couple shirts, like you guys are supposed to sit in it together.
Could have. I mean, I put on the largest. I think I found an extra large jacket, but it was so big and the material was so thin and cheap. It's like I couldn't even take this to have it fixed. So anyway, the race gear was blah. And now, if you want something, you can go look on eBay. Even the shirts that you had to pay for before, I didn't get one this year because I got one given to me in 2020. It's on eBay for $250. So they don't sell. Once that race is over, you don't find that stuff. It's gone.
Do they sell it? No, like how New York is. Do they sell it online?
No.
Beforehand?
No. Beforehand they did. They did. But only the race shirt. You can't buy finisher gear like that. You can't buy the jackets.
The finisher gear.
They don't do like New York. I mean, New York's awesome. You can buy anything you want, right? It comes out, weeks and weeks and weeks in advance.
Yeah.
So the expo was interesting. There was a lot of stuff I didn't understand. I didn't know what it was. Then there were some local. I mean, Garmin was there, and some of the other race people were there. But very interesting too, because they're all excited. People are always around, and they're even at the expo, they're clapping for you, and you're like, "This is really weird." So race morning comes, and literally we stayed at the Hyatt Regency on points, by the way. And I knew it was close to the start line, but I didn't realize how close. I literally could see them building the starting line from my window, from my hotel room. So
I will say that's not always the best.
No, it is.
I did it in 2017 when I had cancer, right? And so I stayed at the Omni.
Yeah.
In downtown Dallas, and I had a view of the starting line. And I mean, again, I'm in that same situation where I'm like, shit, like I had a broken neck, I had cancer, and I'm about to run 26.2 miles that I didn't intend on running originally, right? And I sat there for hours at the chair, just looking out the window, watching them like that blue BMW glow light. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to do this tomorrow. So I felt like, and I'm not a very anxious person, right? But I was like, I felt like I was getting anxious watching that line get like them preparing at 8 o'clock at night and 8:30 at night. I was like, fuck. And then I just kept staring at it because the light was, once they put that light on, it stayed on all night. It was like a blue night light. You know what I mean?
I don't think they had the light on the whole night. But for me, because of So my biggest issue with this race was because of the injury and because of the cutoff times, there was great concern, right? I didn't know whether I was going to be able to meet the time frames. I didn't know what was going to happen. So to get to the start line and get there as close up to the front in Corral G as I could was, comforting to me. And they also didn't open the corrals until 7 a.m. The race started at 9:10. So, and they tell, and the Japanese are very polite, but they're polite in a way where they tell you, it's polite, but yet they're telling you don't do it in a nice manner. But you could read the underlying tone, right? So they said, please don't show up before 7 a.m. You won't be let in. But it was very polite the way they said it. But on the other hand, it's like, don't fucking show up before 7 a.m. because we're not letting you in.
That's right.
So we got to the start line, and again, there's all these different corrals, and Sheldon and I are trying to get up to a closer corral, right? Maybe we can get up to F, right? And so but they were checking. I mean, they were checking. So the other thing about Tokyo is the bathroom situation.
Yes, do tell.
And the disrobing of clothes. So they're very private.
What kind of party
people.
is this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, okay, got you.
Taking off
what?
Taking off your clothing your throwaway clothes.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't y'all, what was that song y'all told me about the thrift store?
The thrift shop, baby, from Macklemore.
Yeah.
I'm going to pop some tags.
Exactly. See, because y'all made fun of me last time I was talking about, I'm going over to the thrift store, and y'all started singing. I said, what are you talking about? Okay, I'm an older one in the group. So they're very particular about you taking off clothes, and you have to put them in a bin. There's a certain area. And you're also not supposed to disrobe in public, right? So if you're on the course and you get hot and you start it's really, I mean, they're not going to pull you off the course. But again, it got warm. I thought, oh man, I'd like to take my top off and just be in my sports bra, right? Because here it wouldn't be a big deal, but you don't do that there. So there's a bin that you had to go walk over and put your stuff in the little charity bins. So again, you got to walk away from where you are, and things are just very, it's different. So the bathroom situation in Tokyo. So apparently it was better this year than it had been in years past, because there were people who missed the cutoff because they waited 15 minutes in line for a porta potty. But even so, the bathroom lines, the porta potties are very long, and a lot of them are down like the subway, right? And so there's some volunteer with a sign, and it shows, a toilet and an arrow, and it literally says how far the toilet is, how far you have to go down to get to it. And so, again, because of my injury and because of the cutoff times, I literally did not hydrate like I normally do. Right? Because fear I couldn't go to the bathroom. So we get to the start line. I've got my bracelet on. I meet some really cool people. And that's the other thing, we've all talked about. The people that you meet out there, it's just as Nix, as you talk about the humanity, it's just so cool. You just start talking to, total strangers. And you find out what you have in common is you're getting ready to put your body through 26.2 miles of hell, right? And you're excited to do it. And so I met some very cool people. One girl, I'm following her. She's on Instagram now. And so we've been talking back and forth. She lives in the UK. You guys have met one of my dear friends that I met during running the New York Marathon.
Yes.
And the very first one. She's come to Dallas and run the Dallas Marathon with us twice. So met some really cool people in line, and the race starts. And I'm telling you, it is wall to wall. You thought New York was crazy and crowded. This made New York kind of empty. And there were some pretty rough runners, and I expected it to be us, right? The Americans who maybe weren't as polite as they should be. But let me tell you what, it was not the Americans. We were well behaved, but I'm telling you what, there was a bunch of Japanese folks that almost took me out. I mean, they were just
Wow.
I mean, it was pretty crazy.
Were you throwing out F-bombs, Lisa?
I did throw out a couple. I did say,
that's my girl.
Exactly.
That's my girl.
And, I'm pretty sure they understood what I meant, too, right? I'm pretty sure.
Everybody knows fuck. Everybody knows that word.
Yeah. But it was kind of crazy. The other thing on the course is, again, you carry your trash. You do not throw your trash down. Matter of fact, you could get pulled off the course for littering. Seriously pulled off the course for littering. The course itself, I was a little bit, maybe I shouldn't say this. It was an amazing race for any number of reasons, but the course itself is pretty meh. And the reason being is it's such a crowded city that you literally can't, it's so many out and backs. So like you would go on a street for 5 miles and then come back the same street another 5 miles.
I seen that when at the end when I seen your course, wasn't there like 2 things, and I was like, "What is that?"
Exactly. I said the same thing. I said, "What is that?" Now we did get to see some cool temples as we're running, by, and we did see some, Japanese structures and some things that were pretty cool. But I really would have. I mean, nobody does it like New York and Berlin too. Missy, you've done Berlin. You know, you've been through. You get to see the city and you get to see the different. I mean, the coolest thing about New York is you get to see all the different boroughs and the different architecture and the different streets. And I mean, it wasn't that way with Japan because it wasn't that way with Tokyo because they literally have to keep you contained, right? Because the traffic is so bad. So I know you guys were watching my time. I was running my ass off. I mean, I did not want to get swept. And when I tell you swept, they literally take a string, they take a rope, and the balloon girls is what they call them, but they don't carry balloons anymore. But the balloon girls, they carry rope. They carry this rope and they literally put it across at the specific time that's supposed to close that area, and you don't pass that. You do not pass that. And I'm talking seconds. If you are 2 seconds too late, you are 2 seconds too late. And so they have these big buses, and you get on the bus, and you ride that bus the whole route. So if you get swept within the first 6 miles, you're on the bus for 6.5 hours.
That would
Could you imagine if I got swept? It would have been the first time. If you got swept, you literally got on the bus. But the people on the course, they're very private people, the Japanese, but they're very excitable, and they were all cheering, and some of them had stuff on the course to hand out. Some of it, I didn't know what it was. I didn't take it. I tell you what I did take, which was much appreciated. So over there, one of the sponsors was Salon Paws, which is it's like
the back.
Yeah, for the back. Well, they have it over there like we have BioFreeze here. So I actually looked at the drugstore the other day to see if they had it in the spray, because I kind of like it better than BioFreeze actually. And they don't have it in the US, I don't think, in the spray, but all along the course, like just random people had it, and they go spray, and I'm like, yeah, spray.
Did you check the Amazon to see if they had it on there?
I should check because I have BioFreeze, in my house, but I actually kind of liked it, and I bought a bottle of it, and Sheldon carried his pack, and I just sprayed that thing forever. So during the race, again, you guys were clocking me. I was crushing it. I was running one of the fastest marathons that I had run. Again, being dehydrated, because I dehydrated myself, so I wouldn't have to worry about going to, the wonderful porta potties. And again, I've been in races where I've used, you duck behind a tree. What's that?
They have the spray on Amazon.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'll have to buy some. I'll buy some and let y'all try it. It's actually pretty good. I've ducked behind trees before in races. The one y'all did in Florida, I did the A1A, and it was out, and we ended up in this little, just like a little park thing. And I had to go to the bathroom, and I didn't know where the, porta potty was. So I just ducked behind a tree. Well, you don't do that in Tokyo. You don't duck behind anything. You duck behind anything, and you're going to prison, and you're probably not getting out. So I got to mile 16 and the cramps kicked in, 16, 17. And I know when I look at the time, my time just went, but again, I was already about an hour ahead of the checkpoints. And so by that time, I knew I was good. Then I knew I didn't have anything to worry about. But like I said, there are 9 checkpoints. And if you don't make those checkpoints,
crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy. And they have these big boards up that show, it tells you the mileage, and it tells you the time for the cutoff. And you're looking for those, right? And of course, when you run in a big city, your GPS is kind of messed up. So I think I ended up running almost 27 miles was what my Garmin said. It was like 26.99 or something.
Oh,
is what my Garmin.
No.
And so,
hell no.
Well, it is what it is. What do you do, right?
No, I know, but that's just so defeating once,
And not only that, but again, you're trying to get to a certain, mileage by a certain time. And if you're and you've already passed that and you can't see the checkpoint, you're like, damn it, I'm not at that checkpoint yet. But the race is very well organized. It's the people there are very warm. And it's a great race. I mean, I recommend it to anybody to go do it just because of the culture and also all the things that you do beforehand or afterwards from a sightseeing perspective. The food was amazing. I mean, I ate my way from one end to that country to Tokyo to the other, and the food was fantastic. And every Friday night, Sheldon and I are trying to go replicate it, right? Trying to find really good
here
or ramen. No. Yeah, I'm like, it's not happening.
Yeah, because my son, he said he went to Japan. He's like, oh, I can never eat sushi again. It's like or any of that.
It is pretty. It's pretty amazing. But and again, when you're done with the race. That was kind of funny. You know how if you finish a race, you're like, I ran all this mileage and all I got was a free banana. You didn't even get a fucking banana. There's no food. They passed out this thing that looked like, like applesauce, right?
Okay.
So,
like Go-Gurts.
Yeah, like Go-Gurts, right? They passed out this stuff and it said body recovery or something. And again, half of the shit was in Japanese, so we didn't know what it was. But it's supposed to be for body recovery. So Sheldon opens it up and he and God love my husband. It's such a good thing, but I could feed him shit. He would eat it and say it was good, which is great because, whatever I feed him, he's happy. Yeah, exactly. He's happy. So he goes, oh, this isn't too bad. I'm like, what? I open it up. It had the weirdest, worst texture. And it was tart. I'm like, shit, I just ran 26.2 miles and this is what they gave me. There's no banana. There's no nothing. I mean, we bitch about Dallas. Dallas was like a feast compared to Tokyo.
There ain't nothing there.
We got nothing. So, and of course, you got to walk forever. Like New York, you got to walk like 10 miles to get you had to go and walk 10 miles to get your medal. And then you had to go walk another 10 miles to get your poncho. And unlike the New York ponchos that are really, really cool, the ones we got for Tokyo, it's like a terry cloth material. And it looks it looks like a bath, something you'd wear by the pool. It's got a little hood on it. You know the little pool ones that kids used to wear? And they have like with little characters on them and stuff? Yeah. That's exactly what it looks like without the character. It's
I was saying, like you were a unicorn? Did they give you like a unicorn?
Exactly. No, it's cool. I mean, I would never wear it out. I don't know where I'd wear it, honestly.
You got to take it with you to the resort next time you go.
Exactly. So I can flaunt that I ran the marathon, right? That's right. We do that, right? We wear those things. So, I mean, the race was amazing. The best part about after the race. And so, and I think I said this to you on Saturday, Mister, when we were running. So Tokyo or Japan, 7-Eleven in Japan is an experience. I mean, it's an absolute experience. And so I watched a bunch of TikToks, right? Because you got to watch TikTok so you know what you're doing when you go over to a foreign country. And thank God I did because, I did disrobe. I didn't throw trash. I didn't eat and drink. And so I knew all the good things to do so I wouldn't get arrested. So 7-Eleven has the best food, the absolute best food. And so the first night we were there, turns out there's a 7-Eleven basically in the basement of our hotel. It's like right outside of our hotel, which was way too convenient. So they have a sandwich. It's a strawberry and cream sandwich. And I know y'all talked about Crustables. Well, they have this white bread over there with no crust that is just amazing. And so they take this cream and they put strawberries in the middle of it. Oh. And it is so delicious. They have the best egg sandwiches.
Sounds like 7-Eleven is like fine dining.
It is fine dining. I bought all sorts of stuff. So after the race, the thing was, it's not like there was a Denny's, by the way, but we didn't try that. You know how we go after a race, we go to IHOP or we go where you can eat breakfast all day and you pig out on pancakes and whatever. Well, we went directly to 7-Eleven. Actually, we had to ride the train. And I have to tell you, the train system there is amazing. It's extremely cheap to ride. And it's the cleanest, you just can't even imagine. It is so clean. Again, you're not allowed to eat or drink on the train. And people are so respectful. They actually wear their backpacks on the front of their chest so they don't bang into you. And I read that too, thank goodness, because when we're always carrying a backpack, so I'm always telling Sheldon, put your backpack in the front of you. Put the back, don't bang anybody. Yeah. But they're very respectful in their space and all of that. So we had to get off at 2 different stops. So we had like a 40-minute train ride to get back home. We went straight to 7-Eleven. And I think we bought like $30 worth of stuff. Now, let me just say this to you. $30 at 7-Eleven here in the U.S. is what? A Coke and a bag of chips. I mean, it's not a lot. Oh, my God. We bought like 4 different sandwiches. They have great corny dogs, by the way. The corny dogs are delicious.
Wow.
I would never have bought a corny dog at the 7-Eleven here. Yeah. And they have this spicy chicken on a skewer they're famous for. That's really good. I mean, we had a spread. It was better than anything I had eaten before after a marathon. So we chowed on that, and then rested. And then the next day we went to what's called Kababachi Street, which is Kitchen Street, where you buy knives and plateware and anything you ever needed to open up a restaurant is literally, it's like 5-6 miles of this whole area. Wow. So we did a lot of walking after that, but I highly recommend the Tokyo Marathon. Anybody want to know? I finished. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say I highly recommend going to Tokyo.
No,
I'd be like, okay.
So Missy, you and I know. So here's the difference between you and I. You go on vacation and might do a run. I go do a run and then maybe hang out. And I don't think I've had a vacation where there wasn't a run involved, and I don't know how long, because it just doesn't feel like a vacation. It doesn't. I know that sounds.
I'm going to run a marathon. It doesn't feel like a vacation.
I keep trying to say we just need to go on vacation. I've been advocating this for a while. Like, we can go places and like we can go to eat food and not run beforehand, and we can go on vacations and not run beforehand. But you guys are all against it. But listen, the fact of the matter is, I know this is a long time coming for you and Sheldon to get this done. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on getting that done. Yeah. I know that you've had to go through injury. Then there's a lot of anxiety because of it. And there's just, you deserved it. You earned it. We're happy. We all followed you throughout the whole thing, so we were excited.
We tried.
For you.
The app was really crappy.
Yeah, that app was because that app was in Japanese. I'm like, what the fuck is this thing saying? So that was one of those things. Although it's funny because I don't know if people realize, like, running and food go hand in hand for us. Like,
absolutely.
We're like, where are we going to eat afterwards? What are we doing? Speaking of which, you're running on Saturday? Are you running on Saturday with us?
I am running. It's only 6 miles.
Yeah, well, it's Arbor Hills though. You won't like it. And
no, I've been there. I've run before. I used to live out in Plano.
I'm just going there to.
You just want to go to eat.
I'm getting breakfast. I mean, I'm going to run those 6 miles, but I'm there for the breakfast. Yeah.
I know.
Have you been to Maple Bacon?
I have not.
It's fun.
Not either.
It's good. It's good food.
Egg whites?
Yeah.
Okay.
They will. But I'm not going to get, I'm going to get like the tower of chicken and waffles and bacon is what I'm going to get. And it comes with a donut, which I've eaten that plate before, but I never get the donut. I never eat the donut. The donut just goes to waste, but it's good.
Who wastes a donut?
I do.
I love it.
Because it's so much food. It's like, it's huge.
Oh.
But no, it'll be fun. It was when you, and I told you, Missy, Erlen and I had gone there when you guys were in Marine Corps.
Okay, yeah. By the way, I'm at it.
Because I was home.
That's how they do. Him and Erlen do their own thing.
Oh my god!
But also, I just want to say I'm mad at Erlen.
I know because
about the trail run.
Yeah, like what the hell?
She gave you the high hard one on that one. She's like, "I'm not going. I got a birthday party, and I don't got to run to get that cake."
F you, Erlen.
Bring her a cupcake.
You can do both. Come on, the birthday party is not at 7 a.m.
I told her, I said, listen, they're going to have another birthday next year, but we may not run that race next year.
That's right.
She can go to the birthday afterwards. The run is in the morning.
Yeah, but it's like 2.5 hours away.
Drive.
It's not close.
She don't know that.
But no, that's funny. So here's another thing that we spoke about, and we'd love to get your opinion on. So obviously the last episode we talked about runner safety, which was something, and obviously Missy and you being females have different maybe needs or requirements than I would as a guy. What are some of the things that you do personally? Like if you're going to go for a run and you want to make sure you're going to be a little bit safer than you normally would look into.
So you guys know I moved out to the country. So I run out in the country. I will say that it's a little safer out here, but not safer in other ways. So I always have a headlamp, and I also have a one of those vests that has the blinking light and the lighted cords that I wear, so you can see me coming and going. Because the issue out here is it's a country road, so there's no median to get off of, or there's no sidewalk. I do sometimes carry pepper spray, and I carry pepper spray not for humans, but for the damn dogs, because people out in the country don't put their dogs behind fences. And so we have certain areas that we run that we know where the dogs are. So sometimes we run that way, hoping that the dogs aren't out. And sometimes we run the other way. And then also there's every once in a while you run into a cow that got out or a bull.
Did you try to hug it?
I did not try to hug it. I wanted to, but it was pretty big. It's pretty big. No, when you run across that, you get kind of scared because if a car hits it, someone could die, and it may not be the cow, right? It'll total your car.
Yeah.
So, when I'm running out in the country, I always make sure I'm well lit. I also wear like aftershocks because, as you do as well, Megs, I always have to run with music.
Yeah.
But the aftershocks allow me to hear everything, right? I can hear my music, but I can also hear everything else.
So for those of people who don't know, aftershocks are a headphone, but they don't go in your ear. They go on the outside here.
They sit on
your
the bone.
Ear is, they sit on the bone induction or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I don't even know if they're called aftershocks. I think they're just called shocks now.
Shocks,
but you can find them. Yeah, I know Best Buy sells them, and you can get them on Amazon. They come in different colors.
Yeah.
And they are important because for a long, Lisa and I have to run with music. Even when we're running with the group, we still have tunes kind of jamming in the background. And those do let you hear your surroundings because they're not sitting inside your ears or over your ears. They're sitting kind of like on the bone outside of the ear.
Outside the earlobe, yeah. I actually bought those because I was doing a downhill race, and they don't allow you to wear in the ear headphones on those because the downhill races are usually alongside a highway. And so they want you to be able to hear what's going on. So I will tell you that it was kind of crazy. I was doing one of my long runs not too long ago. And, I try to be cognizant of my surroundings, and I do try to run with somebody, right? Now, when I'm out here in the country, I'm just very careful. I feel pretty, comfortable out here because it's different than in the city, right? And, but I did have something happen to me about a month ago when I was doing one of my long runs. I had gone out with the DRC group, and of course, because they're running a different interval than me, I went out ahead of them, right? And I was running White Rock, and it was probably 6:15, 6:20 in the morning, and it was still pretty dark, and I had a headlamp on, and they were pretty far behind me. Jose and the group were pretty far behind, but I could still see them. And I ran up and I saw these other two girls, and these two girls said to me, "Be careful." And it was kind of crazy because out of the lake, you feel pretty safe. And I was trying to watch where I was and make sure that they were not too far behind to where if I had to scream or something, they might be able to, hear me or something. Mm-hmm. But when they said that to me, it put that in my mind that, again, I got to be careful. I've got to be careful. And so it's unfortunate, but we have to think about that all the time. And actually, as I was running a little farther up ahead, this car kind of stopped. Where the bridge had gotten wiped out a while ago, and that car drove into the little bitty area.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm talking about that turn going towards
off
the house
Lothar.
that has the lions. Yeah. That. This car kind of stopped and kind of backed up, and then stopped there, and he got out, and I saw him. He actually was putting a cone or something out, and I guess there was a race they were going to have a little bit later on. And so, my heart stopped, started beating again for a minute. I thought, what the hell is he doing? What is he? And I stopped kind of in my tracks and was watching what he was doing. But, pepper spray is good. You always want, a loved one to know that you're out on a run, right? And how far. Yeah. So whenever my husband leaves for a run, he always tells me about how far he's going to go. So I have an idea of how long he should be gone. And if he's not back by a certain time, then you got to know, right? You got to know that there's something going on. But those are kind of the things that I, do and look for. And then again, I like to run with you guys. We run together, so we don't have to, we're a scary bunch when we're all together.
It's a big group. It's a big group. Yeah. I mean, we can be anywhere from 2 to 10 people when we're running together, you know what I mean, on a regular basis.
But even though sometimes when we're doing that, it's still not safe for us, because I don't know if you were there, Lisa, but we had a run with GRC just this last fall training session where we were doing hills, right? We had 10 hill repeats. They did knock it down to 8 because the temperature was 100 degrees.
Right.
But it took us, it was already getting dark. And so when we came back, we were on the other, the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then we came down, which Miguel and them like to call as Raper's Alley.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's no lights there.
Yep.
And so we're running there for almost a mile with no lights. I did not like that. I did not feel safe, even though Gary was with us and there was probably maybe 6 of us or so. It was just too dark. It was too late, and there was no lighting out there.
The only good thing about that section of White Rock is it's flat. Right. But if you're going down there in the early morning or in the late evening, just to give people an idea, it's a 2-lane, one lane in one way, 1 lane in the other. And it's covered by trees on both sides. Yep. Right. So you don't know what's going to jump out of there. Now, White Rock, there's not a ton of wildlife, but there are coyotes and stuff there. You don't know what's going to jump out of there. You don't know who can jump out of there.
Yeah.
And because it's so dark, it's really one of those situations where you're not going to see it until it happens. And it really is. You really, even as a dude, I don't like running down there by myself at certain times of day because it's just dark as hell, man. And listen, crazy people could be crazy people. It doesn't matter what your sex is. So I can appreciate that. There was also one run we had last year, and we went up the spillway and we were going down towards Winfrey Point. And I don't know. I swear, I think both of you were there, but there was some dude and some chick doing some weird shit. And
oh yeah,
do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. They were drunk or something.
Yeah,
and they were almost pretending she was being hurt, and that really bothered me. I was like, dude, that shit's not funny. You can get hurt.
Yeah,
I mean if you guys are sitting there joking around, And somebody could say, hey, this guy's beating this girl. And then next, the police is here beating the crap out of you. That's not funny. So I did say something to them while the group kept going further away because I wanted you guys to have some distance just based on what these two idiots were doing. But yeah, the group definitely helps. The group is a big deal.
Saturday was a little concerning when we got over on Ross. We ran the state of Texas, and it was Pam, and Missy, you, and myself, and we got up on Ross, and there was a couple of people that looked a little, they probably just finished partaking in some drugs, and it was a little scary. There were three of us, but even still, it's unfortunate that we have to deal with it, but we do. I went to an expo several years ago and I bought a little shock ring. Sheldon says, "Oh, why don't you get one of these?"
I've seen those.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Except I'm so afraid I'm gonna zap myself. I'm afraid to take it.
That's what. My son, he was like, "Do not get a taser. You need to get mace," because he's like, "You're gonna tase yourself," and I'm like, "I'm afraid of that too."
I literally, because you guys know when I'm running, I just kind of let go, right? So I'm just kind of not paying attention when it comes to that, and I'm afraid I'm gonna just shock the shit out of myself. So I don't care. I've never used. I carried it one time. And then I didn't, but you have to be careful and you have to be cognizant. I will say I am, I'm pretty cognizant about my surroundings. But
I will also say that Lisa is 100% like when it comes to her and Sheldon, because before we actually got on and started recording, Sheldon is on a run right now. And he came in and he told her, this is where I'm going. I'm driving this place. I'm going to do this many miles. And so I saw that practice in action.
What's that? I just heard the garage open. So
he's home.
It's it's about the right time, so we're
right.
good.
And we spoke about that when we were mentioning run safety last episode. That's something that I'm big on, communicating and letting people know, like, hey, I'm going to be going on this run. This is how many miles, and I even give that estimate, like about how long it should take me to.
He just walked in.
Is the man, the myth, and the legend there?
Say hello.
Hey, Sheldon.
Sheldon.
Hello.
What's up, man?
How many miles did you do?
How many miles did you do, man?
What's that?
How many miles?
Just 4.
Oh, only 4.
Oh, just 4.
This is where we sound pretentious because we're like, that's a quick 4-mile run.
But also, we're used to Sheldon doing like 18.
Yeah, it is.
Like, that is. No.
Yeah, my legs are still a little sore from Saturday's pointing.
So everybody, just so you know, this is Sheldon. This is Lisa's soulmate that we spoke about, and he does run infinitely faster than us. And he puts up with us. He is a gentleman because Lisa just volunteers his services all the time for every single thing. And he never, ever makes us feel unwelcome. So Sheldon, thank you. I know we've said it before,
My pleasure.
but you are definitely a hero of mine for putting up with Lisa and us.
I gotta go shower.
All right, buddy. Be good.
So Saturday when we went out and did 12, he banged out 20 miles, and he's come over to the dark side, so he's now in Nike, and he's on what's the new one? The Nike. What's
Alpha
the
Flies?
newest? Yeah, no, because we're in the Alpha Fly. I'm in the Alpha Fly. He's in the newest one that just came out, and he is rocking it.
Is it the Invincible or something? Or I don't know. Okay, yeah, I don't know either.
What are you in, Migs?
I wear the Alpha Fly. I'm still wearing the Alpha Fly 1. I'm going to get those damn 3s that come out next week. I'm getting those 3s.
So he's in the other one because he can't do the Alpha. The Alpha Fly.
Oh, so it's it's not the Alpha Fly. It is the Vapor Fly.
Vapor Fly. That's it.
Oh, okay.
He just bought the new Vapor Fly, and he is. Yeah. He's crushing it. I mean, he's doing 9-minute miles. Which is I know, right? Awesome. He did 20 on Saturday. We did 12. I'm like, okay.
I know, because you said like he was about to finish or something, and I'm like, well, that's Sheldon. And that's why he doesn't run with us.
I know. That's why he does not run with us.
He is fast as heck. That's why I said him and I may have run Dallas together in 2014, but we did not run together.
Well, he wasn't as fast starting out, so he's gotten considerably faster. He's run one of the Dallas marathons he did. It was like 6 hours and something. So he's not always, super fast.
So also one of the things that we all did together. So we all ran the New York City Marathon back in 2022
Yes, we did.
together.
That was amazing.
And that was fun. And it was just a good group. It was great that we all got to hang out together in the Runners Village. It was great. But like so Lisa, this is the kind of runner Lisa is, you guys need to know. So Missy and I had signed up for the virtual option. So what we basically had to do to get into New York City, and it was supposed to be in 2020, but the pandemic happened. So in 2019, we had to run the same week as the marathon, and we waited until Sunday, which was the last day we can do it. We had to run a virtual marathon through the streets of Dallas. 26.2 miles. It's a virtual marathon. We recorded it on our Garmin's. It switched over to Strava. It uploaded to New York's website, and we got in. So at the time, we're training. I didn't know Missy had actually signed up for it yet. So I was telling Lisa, I'm like, I got to run this virtual. And Lisa's like, well, I'll run it with you. I'm like, but she's not telling you that she actually ran California International Marathon 2 weeks before, like a week before, or something ridiculous. And she's like, yeah, we're going to do this. And I'm like, you literally just ran a marathon, right? And she's like,
I run them every week.
Yeah, she's like, this is going to be fine. And so, yes, and I say this in the most loving way possible, this lunatic ran a marathon and then ran a virtual with me for no skin in the game. She wasn't trying to get into New York. She just knew how badly I wanted to get into New York. And then I found out that Missy and Tennille also were going to be doing it. So all four of us were up at the ass crack of dawn that marathon Sunday for New York City.
Yeah, but wait a minute. What you're not telling everybody is you ran our asses up Winstead when we didn't have to. You had us running hills.
Right, but it was all downhill after that.
I was so mad at you. I'm like, what the hell, Miguel? Why were you doing this?
I did have us go up a hill, and then Lisa very, very strategically navigated us back through what's that park? What's the park?
Norbuck.
Through Norbuck Park. And that was, we timed that so well.
We did.
Like we timed getting, so what we did was we ran the first 14 miles on our own virtually, but we tied it in so that we were going to come into the DRC half, the Dallas Running Club half marathon that they also run on that day. So while the first half of our virtual marathon was going to be unsupported, right? The second half was going to be supported. And my wife at the time, she actually was there with my son, and they had some snacks for us at one point, which was very helpful. And then we had the DRC half to kind of give us water stops and stuff like that. And it was funny. And I have the photo somewhere and I got to find it, but there's a picture of us running through the starting line.
Right.
Yeah. And it was a cool photo.
The race hasn't started.
Right. And then, but people knew at some point, they're like, no, they're doing the virtual.
Mimi was the one who led us through. Yeah.
Mimi was like, no, let them through. And then it was weird because the energy kind of changed a little bit. All of a sudden people seemed like a little excited that we were running through to do that virtual. But I will tell you that we probably had like a 4.5-5 minute head start on the actual race. And that shit got wiped out real quick. Those real fast runners.
It did.
They blasted right past us.
But also, I remember coming back on mile it was probably like, I don't know, 24 for us or something.
Yeah.
I was dead. Me and Tennille were like, oh my God, it was horrible. And then some guy was like, you want some Oreos? I'm like, yes, I do. That made me feel better.
Race food, like people giving you random shit. Like that was one of the fun things about the Cowtown because somebody's always handing out peanut butter pretzels and they have whiskey shots at some point on that race also.
So Cowtown has a great party at the turnaround for the Ultra. And at the Ultra,
really?
they give you a hamburger. There's fireball shots. Yeah,
Jesus.
Fireball shots. I mean, they have some good stuff. I will tell you my favorite, Flying Pig is got some great food on it. And of course, you get bacon twice on the course if you do the full.
Missy didn't.
I know you didn't because of the rain.
The rain wiped us out. Yeah,
I know. I felt bad because that's a great race. I'm sorry that it wasn't a good experience for you. But my favorite of all time, the best thing I ever got on a race, believe it or not, and I almost went back for more, but that was my PR race, was a piece of king cake. And it had like chocolate and cinnamon on it. It was a different king cake than the normal. Mm-hmm. And we're running through a neighborhood and someone has it out on a plate and hands it. And I grab it. I'm like, damn, this is really, really good. And I was like, I want some more of that. And I'm like, nope, my time. I mean, if it had been a shit time, I was going back to get me another piece of cake. It was
okay,
so good.
so Lisa, you've had to run Tulsa, right?
Yeah, Tulsa's awful.
Okay,
I hated that
but
race.
did you? Okay, so I
Sorry.
think Megan was doing the full, and so
Yeah.
I ran the half to do half kind of with her, right?
Right.
But so I wasn't a race for me. I was just whatever. And then that's a party the whole way through, at least on the half. Like the people have bars set up and they'll mix drinks and there's a whole water stuff that's just beer. And so the like not even a mile in is your first Jello shot.
Really?
And I'm like, well, I'm just here to help Megan. And so I'm like, sure. And I hit almost every,
oh my God,
everything. And then Megan, because she didn't have any willpower with me, unfortunately, she's like, okay, I'll do one. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't.
Megan likes to have a good time. Megan's all about the good time. She doesn't care whether she finishes or not. She's good.
But she also did finish that race after I had to leave her like at mile 10 where our split was. And she went on and finished the dang whole full and did all those shots and drinks.
Oh my God. The time that we ran Tulsa, the weather was bad. It was cold. Mm-hmm. It was really cold and drizzly. And why I went up the hill to get that stupid coin for the ultra, it's called
the center of the universe.
Yeah. I'm like, why I did that? I'm like, I just ran up this hill for a stupid coin. That was so dumb.
It's the world's shortest ultra marathon. That's how they advertise it.
I know, right? Yeah. I know, exactly. So I have that coin somewhere, but I will tell you the best race food that you get is actually the trail races.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
Are the best.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because you've got people who are running 50 and 100 miles.
Yeah,
so they got all sorts of really
but I'm only running
food.
8, so I still want all the food.
You still get the same. You still get the same table. You still get the one at Cleburne was pretty good. That we did at the Coyote Run, but the one that I did in was called the what was the name of it? It was in Juniper Point. They had an amazing spread. That one was really, really good. But the trail runs have the best food because they have to. I mean, people are eating real food in order to be able to sustain themselves. But always try the stuff on the race course. No one's going to poison you. The grandmas, when I ran grandmas and had COVID, I ate a hot dog on the course, which is the first time I ever ate anything that big because I was walking. I actually think I was crawling that one.
So you just ran Tokyo. I know Missy has Fargo, and we're all doing this trail run in May. What else do you have coming up?
So we have Nashville. I'm doing the Nashville half with Pam.
Okay.
I've done the full. I did the full 2 years ago. So I don't have anything. I don't have any marathons yet. We're looking. Sheldon and I are looking. There's a couple of stuff in June and July that are we're kind of possibly looking at. And then he's talking about I don't know if it's called the I-90 or the I-70 challenge. It's you can click off Kansas and Iowa at the same time, and so they're back to back. They're one Saturday and one Sunday. I don't know if the knee will hold up to that anymore. I've only done I've done one weekend back to back weekends, but I've never done back to back days. Sheldon has, but I have not. So I don't know. We'll see. But I don't have anything signed up yet. But I'm itching to do that.
So you definitely are.
Yeah.
Well, if you did decide to do New York and you get in, I would love it because that means more people I can support and be out there with and spectate. So
well, I gotta hook up with my cousin. I'm not sure he's still going to be on the force. He's a firefighter, and that's how I got in. I'm not sure if will have moved by then. But if not, I don't know. Maybe I'll fly up on Southwest.
Be a party.
And,
we can spectate together.
Yeah, we can.
That'd be so
together.
Fun.
That would be. Oh my God, the two of us. I'm not sure.
That's how Lisa started her career. Remember, she was in the newspaper.
That's right. I'll put up a sign. Actually, my sign said "Worst parade ever."
It did. I remember.
Said. Yeah.
It's a good photo of her and Stacy. Actually, it's like an action shot. They're like real animated in it. It's pretty good.
my daughter is the one, of course, that, got me started in running. And of course I can't stop, and she's not running any longer. She's doing, she's doing CrossFit, working out and stuff. But, I try to get her to run with me every once in a while, and she will sometimes, but, she's not having it. She's not doing more marathons.
That's funny.
Well, you just got to thank her for getting you involved.
Getting you into it, right? And look where it's gotten you. Look where it's gotten you.
Exactly. The funny thing is that, the kids are like, my son got us to go up to Estes Park and run a half, just after I started running, halves. And it's, the family thing is like, if my kids said, oh, let's go rob a bank as a family, right? Well, heck, let's go rob a bank.
Right.
We'll be in jail together. It'll be wonderful. We'll be all, the family will be all together. And so he had us go up to, we went up to Estes Park on Father's Day. So that was the hook. Let's go up for Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
But now he cycles. So him and my daughter-in-law are major cyclists. I mean, they cycle, 50, 60 miles. They've been in the mountains of Colorado. So I tried to get him to come run Nashville with me when I go up to stay with him, but he said, no way in hell. He's not doing it.
Yeah.
Well,
so they gave up. I'm still running.
We're getting close to wrapping up. I want to say first off, thank you, Lisa, for taking time to share a lot of your story. I mean, you have so much experience, so many good stories. You've run so many races. I mean, this is why we do, for the people who are listening, this is why we're doing this podcast, because this is just us, what we would normally be doing on a Saturday, and then we probably get something to eat afterwards. Right. And, but we learn so much from each other. We're all, at the end of the day, we're all different personalities, and somehow we all gel together. We have this weird little run family that we are. And I think there's so much value, and in the friendship, there's so much value in the lessons that we give to each other. Because again, our perspectives are different. And I almost say man, I don't think I would have met Elisa if I wasn't doing this, right? The running gave me the opportunity to spend time, and we got to know each other. I don't think I would have met or hung out with a Missy and had the great friendship and the conversations that we've had. And so to the listeners out there, I mean, running isn't always about trying to beat a time or trying to, do solo acts. I mean, yeah, you can do it solo, but you're cheating yourself. You're cheating yourself because there's a huge running community that will let you be part of it. You know what I mean? And so you should definitely give it a go when you can. And it's a lot of fun. But I guess we can
talk more about that next time too.
We can. Yeah. And, but Lisa, again,
I have one bit of advice to anybody who's listening. Give it a try. Go spectate a marathon. Go spectate a 5K. Go and see. And what you'll see is runners come in all shapes and sizes. And I will tell you, it took me a very long time to admit the fact that I was a runner, because I'm a run walker, right? Some people who say, well, you don't run the whole marathon. Oh, I sure the hell do. I finished that 26.2 miles just like anyone else.
That's
right.
Go
give it a try. Just start out. Go for a walk. Just get out there and go. And grab a buddy, because we hold each other accountable. We keep each other going. And so do it. Get a buddy.
One of the other things that I've loved about the running is because Miles has gotten he's seen us do it, and I said he's just a weird part of the group, even though he's so much younger than all of us. And he's done some 5Ks, club races with DRC, and and you were there, Lisa, for his first one.
Yeah.
And that kid got so amped up, and he was just in around the people, and you just saw it. And that's the weird thing. I know people oh, I don't want to do that 5K, but your mind changes when you're standing in that corral with however many people are going to run that race, because there's a different energy, a different vibe, and it just all of a sudden becomes very infectious. So,
do it.
But that being said, again, Lisa, thank you so much for being our first guest ever.
Thank you, Lisa.
And you are a worthy guest. It was good to see Sheldon pop in, because we talked so much about him. Missy, do you have anything you want to say on the way out?
Nope, I'm good. I really enjoyed it. Thank you again, Lisa and Sheldon. And I'm looking forward to next week, because I know definitely group runs is a thing that some people wanted to know about. So we're going to discuss that and how we found it, how we get into it, and why we love it.
That's right. Well, everybody, thank you, Miguel, Missy, and Lisa. Out.